Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. It's 10 a.m. here on the East Coast, and welcome everyone to the reading of the Delhi edition of the Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, the founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement or the Hare Krishna Movement. The class is being conducted by His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Dāsa, who is a senior disciple of Śrīla Prabhupada. And we also are blessed to have other senior disciples with us, like Ishan Prabhu from New Mexico. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu saw Śrīla Prabhupada as a teenager and soon joined the Hare Krishna movement in the 1960s. He was instrumental in funding the construction of 3 major temples along with Guru Kripa Swami and the devotees of that party: the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, India, the Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir near Calcutta in West Bengal, India, and the Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Temple in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. He traveled extensively throughout South India with Guru Kripa Swami in 1972 and 1973, and in 1975 with Achyutananda Swami. He was also made in charge of the installation of the deities in the Hyderabad temple in 1976. And in late 1976, Śrīla Prabhupada selected him to manage the Bhaktivedanta Swami Gurukul in Vrindavan. So now I would like to turn the class over to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Today, we will be dealing with celebrating the lives and activities of a few great acharyas. Very important. As we do every week, we read about the activities of great acharyas that have occurred during the week or on that specific day. On Friday of this week, on the 10th of July, according to the Mayapur calendar, was the disappearance day of Śrīvāsa Pandit. And also this week on Tuesday, on Amavasya, is the disappearance day of Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. So what we will do today is we will read a few of these selected passages from Śrīla Prabhupāda's books and teachings about these great personalities to deepen our understanding of their great position as well as our position. Basically, it's a celebration of the lives of these great personalities. First, with Sridhar Pandit. We have a picture of the Pancha Tattva here with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Gadadhar Prabhu, and Śrīvāsa Pandit Prabhu. Another old painting from Navadvip. Śrīla Prabhupada glorified Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura. After this incident, the Lord began to preach and propagate his Bhagavata Dharma, or Sankirtana movement, more vigorously, and whoever stood against this propagation of the Yuga Dharma, or duty of the age, was properly punished by various types of chastisement. 2 Brahmanas, gentlemen named Chapal and Gopal, who happened to be maternal uncles of the Lord, were inflicted with leprosy by way of chastisement. And later, when they were repentant, they were accepted by the Lord. In the course of his preaching work, he used to send daily all his followers, including Srila Nityananda Prabhu and Ṭhākura Haridas, 2 chief whips of his party, from door to door to preach the Srimad Bhagavatam. All of Navadvipa were surcharged with his Sankirtana movement, and his headquarters were situated of his party at the house of Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura and Sri Advaita Prabhu, 2 of his chief householder disciples. These 2 learned heads of the Brahmana community were the most ardent supporters hold on, of Lord Chaitanya's movement. Sri Advaita Prabhu was the chief cause for the advent of the Lord. When Advaita Prabhu saw that the total human society was full of materialistic activities and devoid of devotional service, which alone could save mankind from the threefold miseries of material existence, he, out of his causeless compassion for the age-worn human society, prayed fervently for the incarnation of the Lord and continually worshiped the Lord with water of the Ganges and leaves of the holy Tulasi tree. As far as preaching work in the Sankirtan movement was concerned, everyone was expected to do his daily share according to the order of the Lord. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam introduction. Next, Śrīvāsa Panditar Sri Ram Pandit Dui Bai Dui Saka Jagate Vidita. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The two brothers, Śrīvāsa Pandit and Sri Ram Pandit, started two branches that are well known in the world. Purport by His Divine Grace. In the Gaur Ganodesha Dipika, verse 90, Śrīvāsa Pandit, Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura, is described as an incarnation of Narada Muni. And Sri Ram Pandit, his younger brother, is said to be an incarnation of Parvata Muni, a great friend of Narada's. Śrīvāsa Pandit's wife, Malini, is celebrated as an incarnation of the nurse Ambika, who fed Lord Krishna with her breast milk, and as already noted, his niece, Narayani, the mother of Ṭhākura Vrindavananda Dāsa, the author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, was the sister of Ambika in Krishna Lila. We also understand from the description of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata that after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of the sannyas order, Śrīvāsa Pandit left Navadvip, possibly because of feelings of separation, and domiciled at Kumar Hatta. This was from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, chapter 10, text number 8. Dhruva Maharaj was given a specific arrow made by Lord Narayana himself, and he now fixed it upon his bow to finish the illusory atmosphere created by the yakshas. As is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7:14, Mamevaya prapadhyanti mayametam tarantite. Without Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no one is able to overcome the action of the illusory energy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age, as stated in the Bhagavatam, Sangopangastra. In this age, the Narayana Astra, or weapon to drive away Maya, is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in pursuance of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda, Gadadhar, and Śrīvāsa. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text 1. Bhagavanera Bhaktar Śrīvāsa Pradhan Tansabara Pada Padme Sahasra Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. There are innumerable devotees of the Lord, of whom Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura is the foremost. I offer my respectful obeisances thousands of times unto their lotus feet. From Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 1, text 38. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopan Gashta Parsadam Yajñeh Samkirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Purport. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam, known as the Krama Sandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Garga Muni, who said that although the child Krishna was blackish, he also appears in 3 other colors: red, white, and yellow. He exhibited his white and red complexions in the Satya and Treta ages respectively. He did not exhibit the remaining color yellow gold until he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Gaurahari. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna Varnam means Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Varna and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent. The name Krishna appears both with Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. Krishna. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he always engages in describing Krishna and thus enjoys transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. Lord Krishna himself appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. Lord Chaitanya always chants the holy name of Krishna and describes it also. And because he's Krishna himself, whoever meets him will automatically chant the holy name of Krishna and later describe it to others. He injects one with transcendental Krishna consciousness, which merged the chanter in transcendental bliss. In all respects, therefore, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Vishnu Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself, Sango Pangashta Parshadam. Further indicate that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and with sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac. But in this age, the Lord subdues them with his all-attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra or weapon to subdue the demons. Because he's all attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods live with him as his companions. His acts were uncommon and his associates wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtana movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Orissa. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Śrīvāsa. Srila Jiva Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic literature which says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam, indicate that prominence should be given in the name of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanted the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To propagate worship in churches, temples, or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshiping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Śrīla Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a famous disciple of Lord Chaitanya, said, the principle of transcendental devotional service having been lost, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared to deliver again the process of devotion. He is so kind, he is distributing love of Krishna. Everyone should be attracted more and more to his lotus feet, as humming bees are attracted to a lotus flower. This was from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, chapter 3, text number 62. Śrīvāsa di Parishad Senya Sangelan Duini Senapati Buli Kirtana Kariya. Translation: these two captains with their soldiers such as Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura travel everywhere, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Guru Varga Nityananda Ṭhākura Śrīvāsa di Arya Talagu Sama Arya Sabha Parishada Sabe Lilara Sahaya Sabelan Nijakarya Sade Ghora Raya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. His elders such as Lord Nityananda, Ṭhākura, and Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura, as well as his other devotees, whether his juniors, equal, or superiors, are all his associates who help him in his pastimes. Lord Gauranga fulfill his aims with their help. Pancha Tattva Vatirna Chaitanya Rasangi Pantacharvalana Karena Samkirtana Rangi. Translation: these five tattvas incarnate and with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord executes his Samkirtana movement with great pleasure. Purport: in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the following statement regarding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam, Sango Pangasta Parshadam, Yajnesam Kirtana Prayer, Yajantihi Sumedasaha. I believe we've already read that purport or similar purport earlier. Now we will read a few statements regarding Srila Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. A very interesting map. This is a map that was done of the actual situation of Navadvip and the Ganga River during the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada glorifies Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. These pictures taken from the internet, this is Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura here with his books. Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura was a prolific writer and publisher of devotional books. This is him with some of his books. And he was always chanting, writing his books at night. Srila Prabhupada glorified Srila Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Srila Prabhupada, bring water, water, water. So today is a very auspicious day, Ṭhākura Bhaktivinoda's birthday. Here's a picture of Ṭhākura Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Although we're celebrating the disappearance of Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura today, we will read from Srila Prabhupada about Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Here's a picture of Ṭhākura Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda. He was one of the acharyas of this disciplic succession from Krishna. We have got the succession table from Krishna, genealogical table. There are two kinds of genealogical tables. One is by the semina, father, his son, like that. That is material genealogical table. And there is one spiritual genealogical table, disciplic, just like Krishna. Krishna, the original father, supreme personality of Godhead. He spoke the Vedic knowledge to Brahma, Lord Brahma. He spoke to Narada. Narada spoke to Vyasa. Vyasa spoke to Madhvacharya. So in this disciplic succession, Lord Chaitanya, from Lord Chaitanya, the 6 Goswamis, and similarly coming down, Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, then Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, then my spiritual master, then we are next generation, my disciples. So there is disciplic succession, and the acharyas, their authorities. Our process of knowledge is very simple. We take it from the authority. We don't speculate. Speculation will not help us to come to the real knowledge. Just like when we are in difficulty, in legal implication, we go to some authority, lawyer. When we are diseased, we go to a physician, the authority. There is no use speculation. Suppose I'm in difficulty in some legal implication. I simply speculate, I shall be free in this way and that way. That will not help. We have to go to the lawyer who knows things, and he gives us instruction that you do like this, then you'll be free. Similarly, when we are diseased, if I speculate at home that my disease will be cured in this way and that way, no, that is useless. You go to an authorized physician, and he will give you a nice prescription, and you'll be cured. That is the process of knowledge. But in the modern age, people think that I am free, I am independent, and I can make my own solution. That is rascaldom. That is not good. So Arjuna, when he was talking with Krishna, his friend, when he saw that there was no solution, talking like this, he surrendered to Krishna. He said, Shishyasteham aham. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 7. Myself, I surrender unto you as your disciple. Shishyasteham shadimam prapannam. Prapannam means surrender. So that is the Vedic injunction, that if you want to know transcendental knowledge or science, transcendental means beyond the scope of your direct perception. So spiritual knowledge is beyond the scope of our sense speculation, beyond the scope. Just like when a soul, a spiritual spark only, leave this body, you cannot see. Therefore, atheistic class of men, they speculate there may be a soul, there may not be a soul. Or the bodily function was going like this, now it stopped. The blood corpuscle now cease. It is no more red, it is white, therefore life. These are speculation. This is not actual knowledge. Actual knowledge you get from the authority, Krishna. He says, Tata dehantara praptir dhirastatra namohyati. Just like the soul is passing through different stages. Dehinosmin yata dehe. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 13. Deha. Deha means this body. Asmin dehe. In this body there is dehi. Dehi means who is the owner of this body. That is soul. That is passing through childhood, boyhood, babyhood, youthhood, old age. Everyone, you can perceive that you were a child You were a baby, you were a boy. Now you are a young man or old man. So you are there. So as you are passing through different types of bodies, similarly, when you give up this body, you accept another body. What is the difficulty? Tata dehantara praptir dirastatra namohyati. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 13. There is no question of becoming astonished how transmigration of the self-soul takes place. The vivid example is there. Simply you require little intelligence. That intelligence is developed through the instruction of Acharya. Therefore, Vedic injunction is not to acquire knowledge by speculation. That is useless. Atapite deva padam bhujadvayam janati tattvam prasada leshanugrihita hevahi nachanya eko apichiran vichinvan. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, text number 29. Chira vichinvan. Chira means for thousands of years you can speculate. You cannot understand what is God. That is not possible. But if you receive knowledge from the devotee, he can deliver you. Therefore, Vedic injunction is that tat vijnana, break. In order to understand tat vijnana, vijnana means science. If you want to understand the transcendental science, then you must approach a guru, tat vijnanartam, in order to, if you're at all interested to understand the spiritual science. Further down, please. Tat vijnanartam sagurumeva vigachet. Mundaka Upanishad 1-12. You must approach Guru. Guru means this disciplic succession. Oops, hold on. As I have explained. So Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura is an ideal guru. He was not a sannyasi. He was grihasta, householder, living with family, wife, children. Still, he was guru. So anyone can become guru. Not that a sannyasi can become guru, a householder also can become guru, provided he knows the science. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was talking with Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, very highly born in Brahmin family, very learned scholar. So he was talking with Ramananda Rai, a grihasta, governor of Madras. And he was questioning, and Ramananda Rai was answering. That means he was taking the part of guru, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking the part of a disciple. So he was hesitating, Ramananda Rai. He thought himself that I'm a grihasta. I'm not even a brahmana. Besides that, I am dealing in material affairs. I am governor, politics. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi, born of a high-class Brahmin family. So it does not look well that I shall teach him. So he was hesitating. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, why you are hesitating, he said. Kiva vipra kiva shudra nyasi kenenai. Ye Krishna tattva veta se guru hai. Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, text 128. He said, don't hesitate. Either one way become a brahmana or one way become a shudra. Kiva vipra kiva shudra. Vipra means brahmana and shudra. Shudra is the 4th grade human being. Brahmana is the 1st grade. So kiva vipra kiva shudra. He may be a 1st grade human being or the lowest grade human being. Or he may become a sannyasi or a grihasta. It does not matter. Anyone who knows the science of Krishna, he can become a guru. It doesn't, that is the verdict. Because spiritual science does not belong to the bodily platform. It is on the spiritual platform. It is very nice. Just like when you go to a lawyer or to an engineer or to a physician, you do not inquire whether he is a brahmana or a shudra. Simply, you have to know whether he is a lawyer, That's all. Whether he's a physician, actually, if he knows the medical science, he may be a Brahmana, he may be a Shudra, he may be a sannyasi. He may be a householder. It does not matter. Your business is with a physician, with a lawyer. Similarly, your business is to understand Krishna. So anyone who knows Krishna perfectly, you have to go there. Interestingly, look at Prabhupada's sentence. Anyone who knows Krishna perfectly, you have to go there. Tad vignanartam sagurumeva bigachet. Mundaka Upanishad 1-12. Vedic injunction is not that you have to approach a sannyasi or a grihastha or an Indian or American. No, gurum. And guru means one who knows the science of Krishna. So this Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura was grihastha, very responsible officer, magistrate. And he was so exalted that he would come from his office generally at 5 o'clock, then take his supper and immediately go to bed. Immediately. See, at 7 o'clock in the evening, he goes to bed. And he wakes up at 12 o'clock. So suppose he goes to bed at 7 o'clock in the evening and wakes up at 12 o'clock at night. It is sufficient sleep, 5 hours. So one should not sleep more than 5 to 6 hours. Minimize as far as possible. The Goswamis used to sleep not more than 1.5 hours or 2 hours. Sleeping is not a very important thing. Even big politicians, they used to sleep for 2 hours. So especially in spiritual line, they should minimize as far as possible eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Minimize. Gradually it comes to nil. Raghunath Das Goswami was eating only a piece of butter every alternate days, not daily. So this Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura regularly, he was coming from his office, and after taking his supper, immediately he goes to bed and wake up at 12 o'clock. And he used to write books. He left behind him about 100 books. And he excavated the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, organized how to develop that birth site, Mayapur. He had so many business. He used to go to preach about Chaitanya's philosophy. He used to sell books to foreign countries. In 1896, he attempted to sell Life and Precepts of Chaitanya in the McGill University in Montreal. So he was busy, Acharya. So one has to adjust things. Not that because I am grihastha, householder, I cannot become preacher. It is the business. Aside, give me water. It is the business of a sannyasi or brahmachari. No, it is the business of everyone. The whole world is suffering for want of knowledge. The present civilization is animal civilization. They do not know anything beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's all. This is animal civilization. Animal does not know beyond these 4 principles of life: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's all. No, human life is meant for something else. What I am, what is God? What is my relation with God? What is this material world? Why am I here? Where I have to go next? So many things one has to learn. Atato Brahma Jignasa. This is human life. Not that eat and sleep and have sex life and die someday like cats and dogs. Therefore, there is need of acharyas, teachers, for propagating spiritual knowledge. Krishna consciousness. Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura was, although he was a grihastha, householder, a government officer, magistrate, but he was acharya. So from his dealings, from his life, we should learn how one can become a preacher in any stage of life. It does not matter what he is. So before we go further, I wanted to ask Ishan Prabhu for some comments or some remarks, chastisements and admonishments also welcome.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. we have a couple of themes that we're considering in this lovely presentation. Who was Śrīvāsa? Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Śrīvāsa, Adi Gaur Bhakti. Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura is Narada Muni. Imagine. And then, who are the associates of Lord Chaitanya? Who is Śrīla Rupa Goswami? Rupa Manjari. Who is Swarup Damodar? He's Lalita. And who is Ramananda Roy? Vishaka. So we're reading these statements that all of these associates, when that of Lord Chaitanya, they are his confidential companions. All of the associations are with him in his pastimes. So now imagine Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's on this planet, but he's Krishna from Krishna Loka in the role of a devotee. Okay. He has all of his associates with him from the spiritual world. Some of them are principal associates of Radharani, expansions of Srimati Radharani. Some of them are Manjaris, different like that. So Ramananda Roy is Vishaka. So then this same Lord Chaitanya, who has come to introduce the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the name, he chooses one particular associate to spread the holy name to the whole planet. Can we imagine? Is it possible to understand who is Śrīla Prabhupada? We have to put two and two together, and therefore, again, not to be taken as ordinary man, hellish mentality. Not to chastise anyone, just to try to share this understanding that we ourselves have to contemplate so deeply, that he is an intimate associate of Krishna eternally. But he's come here. And what is the other theme? The other theme we've been talking about is that what? Jnaninas tattva darshanaha. He can impart this knowledge unto you. Why? Because he has Krishna's darshan. He has seen the truth. Only such that Krishna says this to Arjuna. This is the kind of teacher you have to approach. Why? Because he knows the science. So we have to have a spiritual teacher. This is again repeated from purport to a purport, that the guru is one who knows the science of spiritual life, that the guru is one who knows Krishna perfectly. He can give the science, because what is the science? Raja Vidya. The science is, the conclusion of the science is love of Krishna. But only one who has love of Krishna can share love of Krishna. So while that is the science of the teacher, what is the science of the student? In chapter 12, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada says, the teacher must be bona fide, the student must be bona fide. Then there will be conception, just as husband and wife. The husband have to be potent, and the wife has to be pure and clean. Then there can be conception. This is our relationship with someone who has perfect knowledge of Krishna. How do we get it? Prema Bhakti Ahoite. Avid, from him this love of Krishna emanates. We have to have such intimate association that we can imbibe in that association the taste of their love for Krishna. There's no other way to get it. Therefore, Narottam, the lotus feet, we say every day of our spiritual, it's the only way by which we can get this taste of devotional service. Last line, Ha Prabhu, Ha Prabhu Gora Doya Deho More Padacharya. Oh Master, please be merciful to me. Please share with me this science. So therefore, Śrīla Prabhupada says 434 Bhagavad Gita, last sentence. I'm making last sentence. I shouldn't speak too much. In Krishna consciousness, Śrīla Prabhupada writes, this blind following is condemned. Blind following means I'm a member. I have this emotional, sentimental attachment. I don't have realization yet, but I'm a member. This is called blind following. So what is the opposite of blind following? I mean, the science that if I have a teacher who has this scientific knowledge of Krishna and I have intimate association, I can imbibe from him the taste, then we become devotee. If we're not using the science, there's no difference between Krishna consciousness membership and membership of any other religion on the planet, where the Srila Prabhupada says, what is the test of religion? That the members are developing this quality of love of God without having that realization. It means we're not scientists yet. We're just sentimental attachment. This happens in every religion, that at first the teacher comes from the spiritual world. He's inspired. Then he creates a group around himself. And then when he's gone, church develops. And everyone is a member. And they think our church is better than everyone else's. But they're not scientists. So we have to become scientists. And we can become scientists because we have a relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Very nice explanation. I think we have echo. So we will continue our reading of Acharya for the Golden Age, the unique historical position of Srila Prabhupada, which explains, again, following what Ishan Prabhu was explaining about the nature of these great personalities, their positions in the Goloka Vrindavan. So here we have Srila Prabhupada explaining that Krishna authorizes an advanced devotee to preach Krishna consciousness. Namo Mahavadanyaya. So there is a program of Krishna. Sometimes he comes himself, sometimes he comes as a devotee, and sometimes he leaves behind instructions like Bhagavad Gita, and sometimes he authorizes somebody to preach this cult. Of course, anyone who is a sincere devotee is authorized. Next, the messenger of the Supreme Lord remains untouched by the material energy. The Nitya Baddhas are always conditioned by the external energy, and the Nitya Muktas never come in contact with the external energy. Sometimes an ever-liberated personal associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends into this universe just as the Lord descends. Although working for the liberation of conditioned souls, the messenger of the Supreme Lord remains untouched by the material energy. From Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 22, text 14-15. Next, great liberated souls come to this world only to serve the Supreme Lord's mission. Quote, regarding the first question in your letter about how do we know of the spiritual abodes, since one's going there, no one returns. You should know that the great liberated souls and incarnations who appear from time to time in this material world are not actually coming back, because they are never subject to material contamination or the laws of material nature. For the purpose of delivering the fallen living entities, they come here temporarily and then go back when their business is finished. And this is all under the direct order of the Lord. So the appearance of the Lord or the great liberated souls in the material is different from the appearance of the contaminated living entity who is forced to take birth in the material world due to his desire to lord it over the world. In your second question, you asked if we will remember the earth when in Vrindavan, and the answer is certainly. When Narada Muni was talking to Vyasadeva, as you may have read in the first volume of our Srimad Bhagavatam, he was in the spiritual body, but he remembered his previous life and explained it to Vyasadeva. In material life, there is forgetfulness, but in spiritual life, there is no forgetfulness. I hope this will sufficiently answer these questions for you. From a letter of June 6, 1969. What's important with all of these citations from Prabhupada is that Prabhupada very humbly and indirectly, sometimes very subtly, refers to himself as an eternally liberated soul who has come from the spiritual world to spread Krishna consciousness. As we will see in section 2 of this particular compilation, that Prabhupada was also predicted to come and spread the message and the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very important. Ram Raghava Prabhu, are there any questions? I see that our good friend
Prabhu.
Neil Shama Prabhu has his hand raised.
Dr. Neil Shama Das Prabhu has
yes,
a question.
Prabhu. Dr. Neil Shama Prabhu, please. We have many doctors
Hare
here. There's
Krishna.
Dr. Ram Raghava and Dr. Neil Shama. Very good.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. I wanted to pose a question to both yourself and the other Prabhuji. Is when Prabhupada took sannyas, especially the picture where he shows standing next to his godbrother Keshav Prabhu, and he took sannyas, he had the three dandas in his hand. And I was reading the other day from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Danda Bhanga episode where Lord Nityananda broke the dandas, the sannyasi dandas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it occurred to me that later on, whenever I saw Srila Prabhupada, he never had those dandas. And that is an indicator that he's the Paramhamsa stage, where you don't need to carry these dandas. Can you please elaborate as to when did Prabhupada actually give up carrying those dandas? And whether we can infer from this that he's a Paramhamsa stage, he's a Paramhamsa sannyasi.
Yeah, here's the picture. Very nice. Thank you for your question, Prabhupada. As we see the picture here, Prabhupada is on the right side. Incidentally, the sannyasi who gave Prabhupada sannyas was not Keshava Prabhu, but Keshava Maharaj from the Gaudiya Math in Mathura. Your question is very interesting. Yes, I agree. Prabhupada was a Paramhamsa. He didn't need to carry the danda. But Prabhupada was also showing by example that sannyasis should behave a certain way. What I find most interesting about the question is that Prabhupada himself expressed one time how he had a dream where his own Guru Maharaj told him to come to him and take sannyas. Of course, Prabhupada was always transcendental and very open about his position and his experiences. And Prabhupada said that he was afraid of taking sannyas. Of course, a Paramahamsa is not afraid of anything. We know Prabhupada had wife and children. We all heard the story, how he told his wife at the time to give up tea, and she would not give up the tea, drinking of tea. caffeine tea. And Prabhupada told her, well, you either choose the tea or choose me. And she chose the tea and he walked off. So Prabhupada was not attached, but he's relating to us how we can become detached, or now how we should not become too attached to this material world and our material situation. But again, that's why also, speaking of sannyas, it's very interesting that you're raising this issue, and I wanted to bring this up and ask a comment from Ram Raghava and Ishan. It is well known in 1977, specifically on the 7th of January, 1977 in Bombay, India, Maharashtra, India, that Prabhupada requested no more sannyas in ISKCON. Now, people will argue, well, after that, Prabhupada gave sannyas to Bhakti Charu, Bhakti Chaitanya, and Bhakti Prem in Vrindavan in May of 77. Well, I know because I'm the one who did the fire sacrifice, that Prabhupada called me in his room and told me, do the fire sacrifice, I'm going to give sannyas to these devotees. But he did not open the floodgate. He never rescinded that order that he gave in 1977. Now, put that instruction with the instruction he gave a few months later in August of 1977, when he said that I've done 50% of my work with the writing of my books. The other 50% is the introduction of this Varnashram Dharma. Why did Prabhupada stop the sannyas? If Prabhupada saw that this sannyasi club or this guru madness was so important, why did he not say, the other 50% of my work is appointment of acharyas? He never said that. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking here like a lawyer would think, we say that there is no record of Prabhupada ever appointing, nominating, selecting, choosing any acharyas. I'm referring to Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master in the last few months of his manifested presence. Why? Because Prabhupada wanted the movement to get reorganized. He did not need Shobhara sannyas, and he wanted the movement to get organized because Prabhupada could see the future. A Paramamsa is also Trikalagnya. He knows present, past, and future. He knew there would be a lot of problems in human society, as we're seeing all over the world right now, and he told his disciples to establish Varnashram communities, farm communities, self-sufficient communities. So this is a very important point because I've been thinking about this because I was present for both of these incidents, the giving of sannyas to these three devotees, all of which incidentally were involved in translating and publishing Prabhupada's books in different Indian languages. And the incident where Prabhupada called us in the middle of the night, a few of us, and describe how the 50% of his work, the remaining 50% of his work was the establishment of Varnashram Dharma. And having said that, I'd like to ask Ram Raghava for his comment or his bhashya on this point. Ram Raghava Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm not qualified to speak on this. I'll defer to Ishan Prabhu.
Well, the idea, why does Śrīla Prabhupada, it's a prediction. When Śrīla Prabhupada says no more sannyasis, it's because he understands the business of these sannyasis. They want Śrīla Prabhupada's position, and they couldn't wait to take it. Although they are conditioned souls striving to make advancement in spiritual life, they're very ambitious and they have this. So he said, no more of these. We're not running a caste system. But how do we reconcile that with that Srila Prabhupada should say that the Varnashram system with four Varnas, four ashramas should be there. That when this Varnashram system is put in place, and there is a Krishna Conscious Society with Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, then you can have sannyas coming out of that to be the teachers of society, not to replace Srila Prabhupada, but to point to Srila Prabhupada. So, in one sense, sannyas is condemned. They're condemning themselves by trying to take Srila Prabhupada's position. In the other sense, we have to have Varnashram so that we're not a society of animals, but we're a society that is for the society aimed toward the cultivation of spiritual life back home, back to Godhead. But this is what occurs to me. Hare Krishna.
I just want to point. Whoops, echo again. Kindly help. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We were reading today about Śrīvāsa Ṭhākura, Prabhupada gave the name of Rai Ramananda. Ramananda Roy was one of the very close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with Swarup Damodar and another devotee named Sikhi Mahiti. It is described by Srila Prabhupada in his book that Lord Chaitanya had just a few very confidential associates. One was Rai Ramananda, one was Swarup Damodar, another one was Sikhi Mahiti, a very exalted devotee. Of course, there was also the members of the Panchatattva, but we're referring to those devotees in Jagannath Puri who used to be constantly with Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya first met Ramananda Roy, and this is a very important point, that he had very elaborate discussion on all the different processes of spiritual advancement. And this is very nicely described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe Neil Shyamar Prabhu can put this verse. Stani stitaha srutigatam tanuvan manobir. Stani stitaha. This is the verse that Ramananda Roy quoted to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya accepted that you remain in whatever position you are and hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from a self-realized devotee. Stani stitaha srutigatam tanuvan manobir. Ye prayasopi Ajitochi pi tresilokyam. This is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam that is describing that one should remain in whatever position one may be. Oh, here we go. We're going to get the actual verse. Okay. Jnane prayasam udapasya namantayeva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam stanistitaha srutigatam tanuvan manobir. Ye prayasa jito apiasi taistrilokyam. Translation. Ramananda Roy continued. Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, those devotees who have thrown away the impersonal conception of the absolute truth and have therefore abandoned discussing empiric philosophical truths should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities. They should completely follow the principles of devotional service and remain free from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and animal slaughter. Surrendering themselves fully with body, words, and mind, they can live in any ashram or social status. Indeed, you are conquered by such persons, although you're always unconquerable. And this is a very important point. In the mid-1970s, there was a letter Prabhupada wrote to one devotee, Gopi Jana Ballabha Dasa, where Prabhupada, in our movement, we have no such thing as big devotees or small devotees. And this is a very important point, because there used to be a philosophy that the sannyasis are the real big devotees and the grihastas are the lesser devotees, and the women, well, these are like, you know, there was a lot of very immature, nonsensical discrimination. Why? Because people do not read. Why did Prabhupada plead with the devotees? Study the books, read the books. Because he wanted devotees to be properly educated and understand the philosophy. Not only that, but Srila Prabhupada also said, and discuss everything from all angles of vision. And this is a very important point. This is a very, very important point. Yes, Ishan Prabhu, I know you're itching to say something. Please go ahead. Please.
Very, very itchy. With all due respect, 434 Bhagavad Gita, not only is blind following condemned, here's the sentence in the purport. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiry are condemned. Absurd inquiry. So what is the real inquiry? Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 12, point number 4. What is this love of Krishna, my dear spiritual master? How can I acquire this from you? This is the real inquiry. This is why we should approach the spiritual master who has seen the truth, Tattva Darshanaha. But we're asking about this stage, about that stage, about this. You know what Srila Prabhupada has written? Śrīla Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, he has just said, read the books. If we read the books, I can give you quotes in different parts where Srila Prabhupada says what? He says, you are a big doctor, and myself, who am I? I'm a Sudra. I work with my hands. I work with skin. I work with mridrangas. And you're a medical doctor. You know what Srila Prabhupada says? He said that when Sanatana Goswami met Lord Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya said to his servant, take him and get him shaved. No beards in our movement. Now, I'm nobody, and you're a medical doctor. How can I talk to you like that? Actually, I have no position. You should put your foot on my head. But you, because you are a leader and respected within this movement, that you have a voice, therefore you should be acting in a way. And Acharya in that sense, by example, take off this beard, take off this hair. Because this is what Srila Prabhupada wants, and this is what he's asking. So if you want to ask a question, you ask, how can I get closer to Srila Prabhupada? And if I cannot shave my head and my beard, then how can I become his intimate student so that he'll bless me with knowledge of what love of God really feels like in the heart, really tastes like. So I put my head at your feet, but I want to tell you because you can do so much more than all of us because you have this social prestige already.
I want
Please
to take a little story before we go to the Bhagavatam. In Vrindavan in October of 1972, Prabhupada is sitting in his room at the Radha Darotar temple in Vrindavan. So he was receiving different guests. So one day, it was late afternoon, early evening, there was a sadhu that came by. You know, in India, they got all kinds of sadhus, long hair, long beard, mustaches, big red mark on his head. And he starts to Prabhupada in Hindi. And Prabhupada many times would sit with devotees and he would put his leg up, his knee up, and he would keep chanting. And he would just smile. He was just smiling at this person and he let the person talk. He talking. So after 5 minutes, the fellow paid his obeisances and walked off the room. And then Prabhupada made a remark. He says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not very fond of this beard and mustaches and long hair. And it was very revealing how Prabhupada was teaching by example. You know, of course, somebody may say, well, I work in the world. I do this, I do that. Well, anybody can shave the head. That's no problem. The world, and many people, many athletes have full shaven heads. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize anybody or tell anybody what to do, but Prabhupada had a standard for all of us to follow. But it was very interesting from that encounter. I just wanted to explain that. So let us proceed with the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Jai Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just I had one thing to mention. I know the invitations have been going out week after week, and sometimes we just go for the link. But in order to stimulate more interactive learning, I've started adding a pearl. So with this last invitation on the email and also in the WhatsApp, I added a little pearl question that you can try to answer so that you'll get something more out of the class, and you can reply in the chat box. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, so
And
what is
then
the
before
pearl
I
for
play
this
the
week?
I'm sorry?
What is the pearl for this week?
The pearl for this week is In what year did Srila Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura send his book about the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and precepts, to McGill University in Canada? And also, what else happened? What else significant very significant event happened in that same year?
Can anybody answer that question?
1896, the birthday of Srila Prabhupada. That's when the book was sent to McGill.
Thank you very
Thank you very much.
Well, I meant that question more
for the general audience
to try to stimulate there. I know you know it. So anyway, before I play the Jai Radha Madhava, I'll read the proper translation. I have gotten Venkat Bhatta Prabhu to agree to formulate a proper video with the proper translation, but until we get that proper video, I'll read this translation myself. Sri Radha Madhava have their loving pastimes in the groves, Kunja of Vrindavan. Gopijana Vallabha means one who attracts and reciprocates loving pastimes with the gopis. Giribharadhari is Krishna's name in the pastime of lifting Govardhan hill. Yaśodā-nandana is the son of Yaśoda. Nanda means son and is also the name of Krishna's father. So Krishna is also Nanda Nandan. Brajajana Ranjana means the attractive darling of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. He is always playing in the groves, vana of the bank, tira of the Yamuna river. Therefore, Krishna is also known as Yamuna Tira Vanachari. And in the original songbook from 1974, it gives this wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada, which I love to read every time. Srila Prabhupada is very fond of this song and sings it just before his lectures. In Allahabad and Gorakhpur, Srila Prabhupada fell into a trance after singing the first two lines, and after some time he came back into external consciousness and said, "Now just chant Hare Krishna." Srila Prabhupada says that this song is a picture of Vrindavan. Everything is there. Srimati Radharani, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yashoda, and all the cowherd boys. So with that, we'll start.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari.
Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Ashtottara Shatashri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda Ki Jai.
Jayam Parivrajaka Sadasyaman Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupāda Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra Ki Jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Ṭhākura Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya, Narayanam namaskritya, Naram cheva narottamam, Naram cheva narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Mudirayet, Tato Jayam Mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. This week we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, text number 21. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishnaya, the Supreme Lord, Vasudevaya, unto the son of Vasudeva, Devaki Nandanaya, unto the son of Devaki, Cha, and Nanda Gopa, Nanda and a cowardman, Kumaraya, unto their son, Govindaya, unto the personality of Godhead who enlivens the cows and the senses, the cow and the senses. Namo, respectful obeisances, Namaha, obeisances. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and other cowersmen of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Lord being thus unapproachable by any material assets, out of unbounded and causeless mercy only, He descends on the earth as He is in order to show His special mercy upon His unalloyed devotees and to diminish the upsurges of the demoniac persons. The Queen Kuntī specifically adores the incarnation or descent of Lord Krishna than all other incarnations, because in this particular incarnation, he is more homely than other incarnations. In the Rama incarnation, he remained a king's son from the very childhood, but in the incarnation of Krishna, although he is the son of king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother, King Vasudeva and Queen Devaki, just after his appearance, and went to the lap of Yashoda Mayi to play the part of an ordinary coward boy in the blessed Brajabhumi. Whoops, sorry, just 1 second. Which is ever sanctified on account of his childhood pastimes. Therefore, Lord Krishna is more merciful than Lord Rama, and therefore he signifies his name, Tri Krishna, more respectfully. He is undoubtedly very kind upon her brother Vasudeva and her family. Had he not become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Queen Kuntī could not claim him to be her nephew and thus address Krishna in filial affection. But more than Vasudeva and Devaki, Nanda, Yashoda are fortunate because they could relish the Lord's childish pastimes more attractively than all other pastimes. There is no parallel of his childhood pastimes as exhibited at Brajabhumi, just the prototype of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Loka, described as the Chintanamani Dhamma in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Sri Krishna descended himself at Brajabhumi exactly with all his transcendental entourage and paraphernalia. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirmed that nobody is so fortunate as the residents of Brajabhumi, specifically the coward girls who dedicated their everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. His pastimes with Nanda, Yashoda, his pastimes with the coward men, and specifically the coward boys and the cows have celebrated him to be known as Govinda. Lord Krishna as Govinda is more inclined to the Brahmins and the cows, indicating thereby that human prosperity depends more on these two items, namely the Brahminical culture and cow protection. Lord Krishna is never satisfied where these two things are lacking in fact. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shugurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshata Adadana Strinam Dhanteridam Yache Punah Punah Srimad Rupa Padamboja Dhurishyam Janma Janmari Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadada Swasmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prista Sat Karomi Svam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Śrīvāsa Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This particular purport of Srila Prabhupada in this verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam is very important. This particular verse is quite significant because it indicates Krishna's very unique position. He is the beloved son of Devaki and Vasudeva. He's a Nandakopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. This is actually a very famous verse that many Vaishnavas recite. There's also a very interesting verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where one devotee named Raghupati Upadhyaya, he was a great Vaishnava follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he praised Lord Chaitanya, and he offered some prayers. In one of these prayers, he says, Shyama meva param rupam puri madhupuri vara vayaha kesharakam dhyayam adyeva parurasaha. That what this means is that the form of Krishna, Shyama Sundar, is the topmost form. Puri Madhupuri Vara, that the Mathura, Vrindavana, is the topmost place. That the transcendental activities of Krishna in Madhurya Rasa are the topmost activities. And then the youth of Lord Krishna, as Prabhupada described in this particular purport. The Prabhupada said, there's no parallel to his childhood pastimes as exhibited at Brajabhumi, which are the prototypes of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Loka, described as the Chintanamani Dhamma in the Brahma Samhita 529. Lord Krishna descended himself at Brajabhumi with all his transcendental entourage and paraphernalia. So this is a very important verse. It's a devotee named Raghupati Upadhyaya in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The first line is Shyama meva param rupam puri madhupuri varaha vayaha kesharakadhyayam adyeva parurasaha. So this is, Prabhupada is confirming, he's explaining this in so many simple terms here. In a third paragraph of this purport, Prabhupada says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirmed that no one is as fortunate as the residents of Brajabhumi, and specifically the cowherd girls who dedicated their everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. We know from the writings of Srila Prabhupada and our previous acharyas, specifically Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they've described elaborately the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. This is the unique contribution of these great acharyas of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. There's many other great acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan, who have also elaborated on the commentaries of the Goswami. And Srila Prabhupada has very nicely summarized all these teachings in his books. Now, this is very important. Why are the prayers of Queen Kuntī so important? Let me just relate a little story. When I was in Vrindavan in 77, I had the good fortune of being with Prabhupada for 2 weeks at night, every night, massaging his feet and attending to him personally. And one night, he asked me to come over to where at the head of the bed. He says, you know, if you ever experience any anxiety or distress or problems, all you have to do is remember these prayers of Queen Kuntī or chant the prayers of Queen Kuntī, and all of these problems will go away. That is the special powers of these prayers. So this is just this particular prayer, I recommend every devotee should learn this. This is a very special, very sweet, and very transcendental prayers. Ishan Prabhu, what is your bhashya on this?
I just want to say, before I do give my bhashya, so to speak, that I want to offer all respect to the good doctor. It's just that Krishna says that it's the nature of people in this world that most people are followers, and that the leaders of society, people follow their example in every way, and therefore they have such a responsible role. I just beg for them for the good doctor to understand I'm not trying to be hurtful, nor do I want to. I have tremendous respect, but he has so much power simply because he is a leader, a respected member in the material society and in the spiritual society, that whatever example are performed by a great man, Krishna says, the common people will follow. They'll say, oh, he's such a great man and he's acting like this. Oh, I should do also. So that's it. Otherwise, Krishna says, coming to this subject matter, Paritranaya sarunam vinashaya chajashritam. Bhagavad Gita 4:8. That when I come to this world, I come for two reasons. One is to annihilate the miscreants. The Battle of Kurukshetra, World War, the real World War. Yeah, and and to reestablish the principles of religion. No higher principles are in religion than Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. So why Krishna is playing these two roles? Because as Krishna leaves Vrindavan to become king of Dwarka on a throne, royal throne, Krishna, when he appears at the Ratha Yatra, at Kurukshetra, Krishna appears in his royal garb with jewels and crown and royal, what do you call, armor made of gold on chariots was surrounded. And Srimati Radharani says, oh, I wished to see Krishna as he was in Vrindavan. I wish to see him in that way on the bank of the river playing his flute so that we have we're not in the camp. We're trying to be devotees. I'm trying to be a devotee. We're not in the camp that Krishna is going to kill us in the battle of Kurukshetra. We're in the camp where we want to learn love of Krishna. And that we can only learn from the residents of Vrindavan. Even Krishna's closest associate, one of them, Uddhava in Dwarka, Krishna's friend, who offers Krishna all respect because he sees him as God. Krishna sends him to Vrindavan and he prays, let me just become a clump of grass in the Vrindavan, so when the gopis are walking, I can get the dust of their feet on my head. And this is why Krishna, and this is being discussed in these purports, very shortly after being born, as the son of Vasudeva, royal order, he takes up his residence in Vrindavan so that we can learn what real love of Krishna is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it looks like Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu lost his connection. So it's okay because we're at the end of the class anyway. It's 12:30 here on the East Coast. So I will go ahead and read the Vancha Kalpa prayers. But before I do, I wanted to welcome and thank our good friend and senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Damagosh Prabhu. He has joined today and he joined last week also. Oops, I think Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu is back, so I'll let him do the announcements and the Vanchakalpa prayers. Just take a second, he's joining right now. But I wanted to thank Damagosh Prabhu for joining today and also last week. Welcome. Let's see, he's not. I think there's a delay in his joining, so I'll go ahead and read the Vanchakalpa prayers. If you'll give me a second. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai. So thank you everyone again for attending this week, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. I don't have any other announcements since Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu is not able to join right now, but we'll go into the Kirtan with Śrīla Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, I apologize for the mistake. I thought Das and Das was Damagosh Prabhu, but it's not. So anyway, thank you everyone. And I think Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu lost the connection again. So we'll go on with the bhajan that I usually play.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,